And we are back, everyone. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Kimbology. This week, I have my girl Kendra on. Kendra, say hi.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me, Kim.
I'm so excited for you to be here, girl. Me and Kendra have a nice, cute little history. Girl, when did we meet? Ooh, I don't even know.
So I started at the studio, the pole studio, in 2014. It was.
Got you. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah, we did meet through pole, but did we meet on set too, or?
We didn't meet on set until afterwards.
Got you.
It was after a couple years in the pole studio.
Got you. Okay, cute. Yeah, guys. So me and Kendra, we are pole sisters. What's up? In the wonderful world of pole dancing. Yeah, so basically, I mean, we did also kind of like she was on set too. She's done some acting, some background acting and things like that. So we also have that history as well. But mainly we were just polling girls. So Kendra but you also have like a dance background. Like you were in HBCU, you were like one of the you were one of the girls that were
band dancers.
Yes, girl. Dancers. Yes. So if you guys ever see, I was always like, "Oh my God, Kendra, you used to dance like?" I was like, "Oh, can you?"
Yes, at the great Howard University.
Shout out to Howard University. What's up? We support and love all of our, HBCUs out there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm so happy. We basically met with in pole dancing. I was an instructor, right?
You were.
I started being her instructor. She just had such amazing vibes from day one. Super sweet, super keen to learn everything and just like absorb everybody in, and just had really good energy about her.
Likewise,
thank you, baby. Thank you. Me and her did have a period though where we didn't speak. We didn't talk. We had a falling out, so to speak, but it was honestly more of a miscommunication, I would say, for the most part, because I never hated Kendra. I never hated you, girl. Never felt any sort of ill will towards you, girl. Always love you down. It just was one of those things where you kind of swooped up with other people's drama that it kind of pulls you in. And I just want to address that on the show. I mean, we might have some listeners that might know of the tea. We will kind of dive into that later on in other episodes, but love you down, always did. But whatever, we have rekindled, we have reconnected. I reached out to her because I was like, girl, how are you? First of all, the show, guys, is going to be about this beautiful one being a new mommy. What's up? She is a mommy, guys, but not only is she a mommy, but she is a Black lesbian mommy, guys. Yes,
indeed.
So how does that feel? Like,
honestly, I think I kind of like downplayed the magnitude of like being a mom. It's one thing to have a mom, see other moms and all of this stuff, but I really don't think I grasped the magnitude of it until I became a mother. So really? Honestly, and this is even after planning for a long time, you think you know what you're getting into, but you really don't have any idea. It's such a great experience. It's a love like no other. It has been an amazing ride so far. My son is 4 months old, so obviously I'm still just learning the ropes, and I'm kind of just winging it, taking it day by day. But it has been a beautiful, beautiful experience. I'm having a blast, honestly.
Well, I mean, little baby Cairo, right?
That's so his name.
cute.
Thank you.
I was like following her like Instagram and seeing her, like she had like these beautiful photo shoots where she got her pregnant belly out, and she had all like the what do you call it? Like the not Maori. It's like African tribal.
I don't know what it's called. The way he did it was just some gold stickies on there, but I think it had like a tribal feel a little bit.
Yes, super cute. Very Beyonce Lemonade vibes all day. Very like, Lion King,
I
like
love
vibe.
anything Beyonce. So
I know, girl. I know you, girl. I know you saw Black is King too. I know you did.
Yes, I sure did. And it made me,
Oh my
and
God.
I thought it was perfect for having a son and everything. I was like,
right?
This is perfect.
Were you just so emotional?
I really was.
I bet, girl. And Beyonce looks so amazing. I loved everything about that. The visuals and everything. It just gave me that vibes when I saw your photo shoot. I was like,
oh, that is amazing. What a compliment. Thanks, Kimbo.
You're like, compliment me towards the queen, please, all day. Well, okay. So she is a new mom, guys. Kendra's a new mom. But like I said, she's a lesbian mom. So I don't know her story. And this is why I invited her on today, so I can find out myself. Obviously, being a lesbian woman, a Black lesbian woman, you don't have a man in your life in that sense in your relationship. So how did baby Cairo come to be today? Like how? Like,
oh gosh. Okay. So I'm going to give a little background just on my relationship. My wife and I started dating in 2012. We got married 5 years into our relationship in 2017.
In Costa Rica.
Beautiful Costa Rica. We had an amazing wedding. So we were together for 5 years before we got married. And then our first year of marriage, we ended up buying a home together. And we were just in our house for the first few years of 2017, 2018. And I think around the end of 2018, we were ready for something new, something fun and exciting. It had been, 7 years of being together. Growing up, I never really thought about being a mom. I'm not one of those people that was like, oh, I can't wait to be a mom. I can't wait. But, just life kind of happened. And I was like, having a baby and becoming a mom is like a superhero power. And it's not, I feel like if I can do it, why not do it? So I just started to get this feeling that I wanted to experience something like that. So, we started talking about having a baby, and, like you said, we're a same-sex couple. It's a girl and a girl. It's like, girl, we need some help because we can't do it on our own. We cannot do it on our own. So we just started doing some preliminary research, and we're obviously in a community of same-sex couples. So couples around us had started having babies, and everybody's experience was like a little different, right?
Okay.
But we didn't know what we wanted to do. And, I don't have a lot of male friends. She doesn't have a lot of male friends. So we were like, well, we can't really ask anyone for sperm because you have to have like relationship with someone, I think, to feel comfortable enough to ask.
Can you imagine that conversation? What's up,
girl?
So let me just talk to you real quick. Can I get your fucking sperm, right?
Like, honestly, people do it all the time. My best friend did it. So
really,
she asked a coworker, and I just didn't have anyone in my life that I felt comfortable enough having. Like you said, it's a super awkward conversation. Like,
right.
And then you got to think beyond the conversation. Like, then they have to go and put it in a cup and give it to you. It's like a whole awkward experience. Lesbian women do it all the time. Like, don't be fooled. That's just not something that I was comfortable with doing. So we had to explore other options, honey. And sperm banks was the next best option. It's plenty of sperm that strangers, and that's a whole nother industry. Like, men give their sperm, and apparently, the process of giving your sperm is super complicated. Like, you have to have like top-notch sperm. It can't just be like any and everybody's sperm. So I think they only take like 4% of people who try to give your sperm.
Really?
Right.
I mean, I could imagine the line of niggas just wanting to just be like, you want some sperm? Here you go real quick. Like, they just gonna take anybody.
They can't, because the women like us, we spend a lot of money on the sperm. So it needs to be grade A, and don't need to be sleepy sperm. Nappy sperm need to be moving.
Okay.
It needs to be able to get the job done. So that's why
did you do in vitro?
We did do in vitro, but we didn't do in vitro first. We did buy sperm. There's different ways. So you can buy the sperm and try at home with like
got you. Okay.
The turkey baster method, which is literally like a syringe. So you can have the sperm shipped to you at home. If you put it in the syringe, put it in your coo, and you can do that. And we tried that, but
how did that go? How was that experience?
So with that, this whole process, it just requires you knowing a lot about your body. And straight women, I don't know how, like, some women plan their pregnancies, but a lot of times people just accidentally end up pregnant, right? It's not because they went out and they're like checking their ovulation schedule and, knowing to the day, because pregnancy really is a miracle. I know people get pregnant all the time, but the timing has to be impeccable for it to actually happen. Like, you can't just have sex on any day and hope to get pregnant.
Right.
So when we were doing it at home, you have to really get to know your body. So I'm like peeing on ovulation strips to like find out if I'm fertile or not. You have to narrow it down to like pretty much the day. And, so you spend a lot of time, timing your period. When did I get my period last? And when did I get the next one? And when is the middle? It's like a whole bunch of math and like crazy stuff. So we did that. And I guess I didn't do it right, because we tried it at home a couple times and I never got pregnant. We tried it at home 3 times.
Oh, really?
And I just never got pregnant. And I don't know what may have happened there, but I think it was a timing thing, honestly, because like I said, it's a small window. And if you don't get it right, you're just not going to end up pregnant. Because you get the sperm and the egg got to meet at the exact point. And, it's a lot of science.
This kind of just makes me think of like, because in the past episode, I had my friend Tiffany Williams on. She is a fertility awareness method expert. And she's got her own business and things like that. And she really, like, the fertility awareness method is a way for women to track our periods, to track our fertility, but doing it in a very like healthy and holistic way where it doesn't involve birth control or any sort of like harmful like hormones and chemicals and things like that. And she told me it is a lot of the she does a lot of intense like measuring of like checking her discharge to see like the consistency and like how it looks and like color, and like she was telling me that she takes her temperature to see. And she says she's gotten this down to such a science where she has not been on any birth control for like 3 years or something like that. And like, it works. Like, she hasn't gotten pregnant. So like, I'm very intrigued by this process, because I feel like, yes, a lot of women don't know our bodies. Like, we don't know, like we can maybe use an app on our phone and like, and then the app is, it's an algorithm in a sense, like how you're the one that's supposed to know your own body the most, right? So that just makes me think of that, because it just seems like that's something that's so useful. It seems like you had to pick up those skills to figure out what your body was doing so you can get pregnant.
Yep. Everything you said was like on point. The consistency, because right around ovulation, it gets kind of sticky. And it's so crazy how the body just automatically does what it's supposed to do. So like your discharge changes so that the sperm can like live and have the perfect environment to swim through. And then there's another test. You said the temperature, that's another way to check to see when you're ovulating. And then also there's like a finger test where you put your 2 fingers in there, and depending on where your cervix is. So like your cervix is either super closed, but right around ovulation, it opens up a little, because it's like, if you're going to have sperm coming in here, let me help you out and open up some.
Interesting.
So it is. And so like, I mean, I tried these methods. I think I like noticed the consistency or the change in my discharge, but I could never get the cervix thing figured out, because it's like hard at some point and then it softens up. But I don't know if I could tell the difference. And then, it's awkward after a while. Like, you sticking in there, you digging, you're like, is that the cervix? Am I getting the wall? It's like, I mean, it's hard work, but I do think it's worth just having the reproductive knowledge, that we don't ever really pay attention to. Like, going into this process, I had no idea. I didn't care at all. But when it was time to learn, it was like, okay, well, let me see what I can like figure out.
Well, it's kind of crazy, because like we're not taught these things as kids. Like, women aren't taught these things. Like, well, like there's so much stigma around the vulva and the vagina and the way it looks. Like, you see titties and all that shit on TV all day, but like if you were to see a woman's vagina, spread eagle, vulva out and everything, clit out and everything, it's like the most obscene thing you could ever see, in our society. So the fact that there's all the stigma around it, like women don't even know we don't even know our own fucking bodies. Like I'll be honest, girl, I didn't take a mirror down there and spread my fucking legs till I was like grown as fuck. Like I was in my 20s, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
wow.
You know, I was
I actually did it pretty young. I don't know.
Did you?
I was inquisitive. I had to see what was
You're like, what is that?
down.
What's that?
What is going on?
What is going on down
Yeah.
there?
No, but you're right though. You know, a lot of people are super blind and just ignorant to what's going on. And it's crazy because even being sexually active, people don't really know what's going on down there. It's crazy.
Men don't know where the clit is, girl. You be like, sir. I've always been, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You know,
and that's crazy because, and this is totally off topic, but it took me years to even have a damn orgasm, and I knew it was there, and I knew it was supposed to do something. But
oh my God, this Kendra, we need to we need to have a whole ass episode all about that, because that is a whole episode in itself.
I believe
totally agree with you, girl. I'll have you back and we'll talk more about that later. But back to baby Cairo here. Okay, so you said you went through all the processes to get pregnant. The first time you did the one at all. Right. So you did the at home, trying to get pregnant at home. Mm-hmm. So what was the next step then?
The next step, I was like, okay, because we're spending money every single time. Every vial of sperm,
how much do you mind disclosing, or do you want to maybe? Okay.
I'll tell you, each vial of sperm, that's just one. And honestly, when you see how much comes in there, it's like, it's not a lot of sperm. Okay. So you spend, and honestly, it's not a lot because it doesn't really take a lot, but.
Right. Because there's going to be millions and millions of sperm in that.
Right. It was that one little thing. But either way, one vial, depending on which sperm bank you get it from, every vial or one vial is 1,000 or more.
Woo, child. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's why so many people go and have that little awkward conversation with their homie. The homie down the street.
Okay. I'm like, yo, let me talk to you real quick. Yeah, yo, ma, pull the whole, hey, yo, ma, you know how they be hollering at us? Yeah. You gotta holler at them. Hey, yo, ma, come here.
Hey, yo, sir. Sperm off.
Right, let me see what, hey, yo, what's up? Let me get that sperm. No, Kendra, I didn't realize.
I know, it's very, very pricey.
Damn, girl.
But it's convenient. So it's like, do you have the awkward conversation? And then when you have the conversation, you have to like knock on their door and be like, today's the day. They can't have, you got to ask them not to drink for 2 weeks.
Oh, right.
Because you want good sperm. And so it's just too much. So it's like, you either do all of that or you pay for the convenience of having an anonymous donor who you know the sperm has been tested, you know it's quality sperm, it's gonna work. So that's why we chose that route. We had to weigh our options. So anyway, we tried those 3 times. We had to put a pause in it though, because we're spending money, it's not working. Let's see. So I went to a fertility specialist and I told them, hey, I tried a couple times at home. And they were like, well, since you've tried a few times, we encourage you get some testing done just to make sure your reproductive system is all working. And mind you, I was 34, 35, and I had never been pregnant in my life. So I didn't know, if my stuff was working or not. I had regular periods, but that's pretty much all I knew, is that I had regular periods. They were somewhat normal. And so I just assumed all is well. So I go get this testing done. The testing, they tested 2 things. They test to make sure your fallopian tubes are working. There's no blockages, because that's pretty common in women where there's a blockage in the fallopian tube, meaning the egg can't even come down good, or there could be stuff going on in your uterus, like growths in your uterus, polyps, fibroids, stuff like that. And that would impact your ability to get pregnant. And so since I wasn't getting pregnant, they wanted to check all of that. My fallopian tubes, they check that. Super simple process in the doctor's office. It only takes a few minutes. They squirt a saline solution and they see if it's flowing. And if it's flowing, then that means it's working. Super non-invasive. You don't have to go to sleep or anything. And it tells you your fallopian tubes are working. And I have friends who did the test and they did discover blocks. So it's worth doing.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually pretty common. Blocks are normal, not normal, but women have blocks all the time. One tube might be blocked, the other one might be open. It happens. Mine were good. But when they went on the inside of my uterus, they did notice little polyps, which are little growths. They're nothing to really worry about, but they would impact if I did have an embryo in there, the embryo might have a hard time implanting in the uterus and securing a pregnancy. So she's like, well, we got to get those things out of there.
Okay.
I was like, okay. I mean, but mind you, I would have never known. I would have never known. And I could have just been spending more money. And
oh my God, right.
You know, exactly. So it's like, it's really important. And I think that's why I was really happy about this experience because, you know, and I compare myself to straight couples all the time because some straight women, I have straight friends who've been trying for years and they never really think to like learn their reproductive health and like go get it checked out. It's like, I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna just keep trying. I'm not getting the timing right. I'm not. But it's worthwhile to have that knowledge of like what's going on with your body because everybody's situation is different and you never really know if there's something going on that's holding you back from like this baby that you want. So I had to have a minor surgery. The surgery
really
I did to have the polyps removed.
Oh my God.
I know, right? And so, but it was a quick procedure. It was only like 30 minutes, but they did have to put me under. So
okay.
I had to go to sleep. The surgery was like 15 minutes and then you wake up and it's over. But you know, the polyps are all gone. They showed them to me. They're like little
yeah, what do they look like?
They're little small, like growths of some sort. Okay. And I mean, you know, there's no real way of knowing where they came from or why they grew or anything. It's so just something that women have. And,
right.
You know, you just will never know unless you like actually go in there and see it. So
go in there and just
go in there. Yeah. And when they tested to see what was going in there, they stuck like a camera through my cervix. And as soon as she went in there, she showed it to me. She's like, do you see these little things? I was like, oh yeah, I do. Right.
Did it scare you?
It didn't really scare me. It honestly just made me feel better about the failures. It's like, okay, maybe this is why I wasn't working. And I was kind of devastated at first. I was like, oh no, this means I can't have, you know, you don't know.
Yeah.
The doctor immediately calmed him down. She's like, okay, this is nothing that's gonna hold you back. We just gotta go get him out of there.
Okay.
And they scheduled me. I was in for surgery literally the next week. So it's not really anything. It sounds major, but it's not. And it just took a day of recovery, nothing major. And then that next period, I was able to try again at the doctor's. And this time I didn't do it at home. I had the doctors put the sperm inside me.
Got you. Okay. So is that considered in vitro?
That's not in vitro.
Okay.
So in vitro, well, we'll talk about in vitro next, but this time is just them taking the sperm, sticking it in my uterus, but my egg still has to come down. They still have to meet and they still have to make an embryo. So like they help by putting the sperm in there for you, but your body still has to do the work.
Interesting.
So the egg still has to come. That's called an IUI. It's IUI, not as expensive. Okay. So the sperm is like $1,000, and then the procedure I think is like $1,000 to have them. Wow. But they're
putting like a whole vial of that
sperm. They put the whole vial in there. But they also remember I was saying I had to figure out my own ovulation when I was trying it at home. Well, the doctors, they monitor you throughout your cycle and they know exactly when you're going to ovulate because they track your hormones and stuff for you. So they take out all the guesswork and you're going in several days a week because they're tracking you on a day-to-day basis, and they're watching your hormone levels go up or down. And all that is blood work. They just draw your blood.
Okay.
And so when they draw your blood, they test your blood and they say, hey, this hormone level is here. And so they literally will look at your blood every day, and then they'll call you and be like, okay, your numbers are right. Come in tomorrow so we can put the sperm in you.
You guys, this is a whole cosa. It's like a whole process. Like, I mean, like, I know I'm hoping some of the listeners are like learning like stuff, you know, because it's like, I fucking didn't know any of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like some women be like, damn it, I got pregnant. Fuck, you know, not knowing how hard it is if you really like, you know, if you're a same-sex couple and you're trying to have a child, this is a lot of work and money.
So honestly, that's like the hardest part is like spending so much time trying and watching people around you get pregnant who aren't trying. They're pregnant day in, day out. I mean, accidentally.
Girl, the COVID babies. How about that? All the quarantine kids, because you know, motherfuckers at home. And then my one coworker too, she was like, yeah, girl, I had an oops baby. I was like, oh, So like,
insane. Like you have no idea how like impeccable your timing has to be to actually get pregnant. So when people do it without even thinking, and just because they just out here busting nuts and having good sex and
busting it wide open,
right.
busting it wide open.
Y'all are just doing it all on the right day. It's pretty. It's because it's a complicated situation. It honestly is. So,
girl, I'm over here. I trip every damn time when I meet my partner. I be like shit, sweating and shit. Not like, but the thing is, if I knew my body more, like I need to fucking do, I would know that I'm good. Like I'm not even fucking ovulating. No way.
Right.
Bust it all wide open. Bust it all. You know.
Right.
Nah, that's so interesting. Okay, so
it's insane.
So the doctor put did IUI?
IUI. It stands
IUI.
for intrauterine insemination, which is putting the sperm in your uterus and trying to get you inseminated. So we did that a couple times. I actually got pregnant during one of those times.
What timing was this, Kendra? Was this during the pandemic, during the quarantine?
This was 2019. So
this was pre-pandemic.
This was pre-pandemic. Yes. Okay. And we ended up, just to give an idea, we ended up trying for like 2.5 years before I had a pregnancy that went full term. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? It's like, dang. The whole process is pretty taxing emotionally.
I bet.
Yeah, it's a lot when you're like actively trying, which is crazy because you end up being stressed and you have all this anxiety, and like those are the two number one factors that can like help you not get pregnant. You can't be stressed while you're trying to get pregnant, but then you stress, so it's like a mind fuck for real.
True.
So we did the IUIs a couple of times. I got pregnant on the second time, but I ended up miscarrying like at 5 or 6 weeks or so. Yes, I did. So that was, and that was crazy too, because even though miscarriages are super common, early pregnancy, I still didn't think it would happen to me. I just didn't think anything of it. So it kind of was like, whoa, it shocked me.
Did that hit you really emotionally?
Yeah, it did, because I was trying to be level-headed the whole time, just for the same reason that I said I wasn't trying to be stressed. I wasn't trying to have anxiety. I was going through my spiritual journey at the time. So I was like, I hope the universe is going to get us pregnant when the universe wants us to get pregnant. You can't, our journey is supposed to be what it is. So I was trying to embrace that even when the miscarriage happened, but there's going to be disappointment, even when you believe in divine timing and stuff like that. So I definitely was disappointed, and it was a lot going on in life at the time, so I had some stuff to distract me, but it was what it was. It was like, all right, we got to take a break, and we'll start over at the drawing board in a couple of months, and we'll try again, and I was discouraged too, because my wife is just there, trying to support me through it. But then when you're not getting pregnant and it's like 5 times of trying, you're wondering if you can get pregnant. I don't know what she's thinking. She's like super frugal, and I'm like, every time we try, we're spending thousands of dollars, and I'm like, is she gonna, I didn't know if she was gonna say maybe this isn't for us. I mean, there was so many like things going on, but I kept the faith. We took some time off. We took a vacation after the miscarriage. We just kind of like hit the reset button. That's when she was competing for her bodybuilding contest at the time.
Yes.
So we kind of focused on her, let her do that, got through all of that.
What an accomplishment though for her. Like,
yeah, I know.
I can't wait to I'm hoping that she, decides to come on and talk to us about that, because I want to hear about that story too, because that's
she should. I'm sure she'll be open to it. But that was going on while we were getting pregnant, so and that was a lot too, because she didn't necessarily, like, literally the miscarriage happened I think April 20th, and she had to go on the stage the first week of May. So it was like the 2 weeks before, and the 2 weeks before going on a bodybuilding contest is like insane. They're like not eating anything. She was hangry. She was emotional. Like, she's going through her own stuff. And then I'm dealing with a miscarriage at the same time. So our whole household was like a shit
going
show.
through it. Yeah.
It was a lot. So that's why we took a vacation and just took a few months off. And we tried a couple more times. We did. And tried a couple more times doing the IUI. That didn't work either. So
really? So wait, a total of how many times did you do that?
So we did 3 times at home. We did 4 IUIs. I got pregnant on the second one, and then we did 2 more after. And those 2 were not successful. So that's
y'all do the math. Y'all do the math.
Do the math.
So y'all do the math. I mean, so my people out there listening that are like, oh my God, pregnancy, I'm scared, or like got pregnant very easily. See, this is if you should be blessed, because this shit is serious. If you really want to have children, it's very like taxing if you can't do it. And
yes, and that's why they say on April Fools, don't be making those pregnancy jokes, and that is very, very real, because so you never know like a woman's story, you know. And I know so many women get pregnant all the time and easily, but there are also an equal amount of women who are struggling to get pregnant. So it's just, you never know who those little jokes are going to trigger and stuff.
Of course,
you know? Yeah.
And it happens to everyone. I mean, are you familiar with Chrissy Teigen and John?
Yes.
Right. Oh my God, my heart broke.
I cannot imagine.
My heart completely broke, and I stand them. Like, they make obviously the cutest babies ever, like you know, but I'm a little biased because they're Thai and black just like me, so but no, literally, like when she had that child, it was stillborn, right? Like
it was stillborn. She had to deliver it, which is like,
so she carried it full term, and then to have the baby, oh God, my heart
it's
broke. And she had 2 kids already, so it could happen at any, you know, like
honestly, childbirth, pregnancy, fertility, all of it is such a sensitive matter. So, and my heart was broken for her. I cannot imagine going through a full-term pregnancy and having to experience that. It's insane. Yeah.
I can't. My heart broke for her. So, but to hear your story too, it's just like, I didn't realize myself, you know, I'm over here in the, you know, on the back end, just like seeing, you know, oh, look how pretty she looks pregnant. Oh my God, look at those photos. And then all of a sudden Cairo codes like, oh my God, so happy for you. But I had no idea the work that went into, you know, having baby Cairo in this world with us. So, okay. So we have gone through, you said you had a miscarriage, you tried 2 more times. And then, so obviously baby Cairo is here. So what was the success in your pregnancy?
The success is coming. I know it's a bunch of failure already, but here it comes. So the end of 2019, I have to mention our last vacation because, you know, COVID is starting to come around the curve. So, you know, after those last 2 times, we planned an impromptu vacation to Bali at the end of 2019.
Yes, Bali. I love Bali.
And I love your hometown too, in Thailand. So let me
tell you. You went to Thailand too? You went to Thailand too?
I did we went to Thailand right before we started all together.
Okay.
But when we went to Thailand, you know, we got suckered into buying a timeshare, right?
Oh my God.
So we bought
oh my God.
We sure did, but it's for all of those countries over there. So we're gonna be back in Bangkok as soon. Okay. And we also used our first vacation in Bali as well with the timeshare. So they suckered us, but we loved it over there. Like, I fell in love when I went to Thailand. So I feel like it's a win-win for everybody.
Hell fucking yeah. Okay. I know that's right.
So we went to Bali, had the vacation of our lives.
Where'd you go in Bali?
We went to all of the main ones. Phuket, PP.
Oh, that's Thailand, no?
Oh no, yeah. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Thailand. Bali, there's like Seminyak, there's Ubud. Okay.
We stayed at Seminyak and we went inland Ubud for the day and went to see monkey forest.
Ubud is beautiful. Oh my God, guys. Oh, so beautiful.
Yes.
Love it.
That's what we did. It was beautiful. I mean, we drank the whole time. We knew we were going to start at the top of 2020. We were going to start trying again. So we wanted to like go and have a good time. So we just went. We did all these water sports and like it was amazing. So we came back top of 2020 and I called my doctor. I was like, look, it's been 4 times. We're ready for in vitro. In vitro is, you know, the most costly way to do it. but it has the highest success rates.
Okay.
And it costs so much because they go in, they take your egg out, they fertilize it in a petri dish, they make an embryo, which is a baby. So they do all the work for you. They take out all the guesswork of your body. They get you your babies, then they put it in there, and then all your body has to do is pretty much accept the embryo into your uterus, which is pretty easy. It's pretty easy, you know, and that's why the success rates are so high.
Do you know the percentage of the success rate of vitro? Do you know the percentage of success?
I want to say like, I have no idea. Maybe high 80s, high 80s, low 90s, something like that. I mean, and obviously your uterus has to be in good standing because your uterus is the one that has to, you know, and they checked me again before I did IVF, because since I had those polyps the first time, they wanted to make sure that I didn't get any new ones. So they checked it again, and I didn't get any new ones, which was great. I didn't have to have any more surgeries. But your uterus has to be in pretty good shape for the embryo to come in. And honestly, that's a whole nother process, because your body releases one egg every cycle, but when you do in vitro, they blow up all your follicles to increase your chances, and they want to get a bunch of eggs. So instead of just doing one egg, they take out, I end up having 18 eggs taken out.
Wow.
Right. So they put you on all this medication, they go in, they take all the eggs out. And then you get that one vial of sperm, they fertilize all the eggs, and that's how women end up with like 9, 10, 15 embryos. So like now I still have 8 babies frozen right now that I know, right? It's crazy.
Really?
It is. So they take out 18, they fertilize them, but you know, as they like freeze them and do all of that stuff, some of them don't make the process, so they kind of die off. And that's why I went from 18 to 9. And so I had 9 embryos. They put one inside me, and that's baby Cairo. And then I still have
that's amazing.
The other 8. Yeah. And then
oh my God. So you can just like go and decide whenever you want to have another child.
Yes, I can. And you can even test the embryos on the front end to find out what the genders are. So and I didn't test these embryos at all. I just told them to give me the best looking embryo, and they can tell by the way it looks if it's like a good quality embryo. They gave me the best one, and it was a baby boy. But if I did want to go back and have a girl, for instance, they could test the embryo, and they could put a girl embryo in me.
That's so cool.
It's insane. It costs a lot of money, Kim.
Oh, my girl.
Science is expensive, but it can do a lot of magic if you need it to.
Girl, how much are we talking about? Like just in vitro?
So I don't even know, because we had good insurance.
Okay, good. Thank God.
But you know, so we spent $10,000 on the first tries. Okay. And then if we did not have good insurance, I mean, I don't even know. I think medication is like $5,000, and then and then all of in vitro is like 20 something.
Whoo, girl, baby Cairo.
I know, right? These days, though, depending on what kind of insurance you have, there's usually pretty decent fertility coverage, because
good.
And I don't know what has sparked it, but like a lot of the companies out there, even small companies, have decent fertility coverage, just because I think women have fertility issues, and
it's real as fuck.
You need that support. You really do, especially since the procedures are so expensive. So you know, it can be helpful.
Girl, that blew my mind right there though. Like the
with
fact
the embryo
that you still have, I was like, wait, whoa, like that's. So, do you know how long like you can keep them for?
I can keep them as long as you have to pay for storage. So
so it's like freezing your eggs too. Like I know women do that. Exactly. They'll freeze their eggs.
So you freeze your eggs, or you can freeze embryos. So yeah, I mean, they can store them for however long you want, as long as you paying that money.
Science, y'all. Science.
It's amazing. It's amazing how they do it. And honestly, you know, in vitro was so like quick. It like escalated really quick. I went in for my first IVF appointment, and then I was pregnant like the next month.
Really?
And it happens really quickly. Like you go in when they retrieve your eggs, you do have to go to sleep, but it's only a 10-minute procedure. They do it, you wake up and they call you that day and they're like, hey, we pulled out 10 of your eggs. And they'll even call you the next day and say, okay, so we put the sperm in there and now you have 10
so they give you little checkups, like
they
little
give you a little
updates.
checkup.
Okay.
That's literally on a day because they fertilize them, you know, right away. And then they have to freeze them fairly quickly too, because they can't survive with either outside the body or they have to be frozen.
Got you.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
It's dope. It really is dope. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. That is like the most interesting story because it's just like I had no idea.
Yeah, it's crazy. And because if you do it, like it's really affirming because some women try at home all the time, right? Like I have a friend now who's been trying for a year and a half and stuff. So you know, it sucks because you want your body to do it. Like it's kind of like disheartening to be a woman and feel like, you know, your body can't do what it's supposed to do. And I know some women experience that. But it's also amazing to know that science has developed so much over the last 10 years. Because I don't even think IVF has been around that long. I think they had the first IVF baby in like the 80s, maybe. That's like when they first started to try
this
with IVF, and then it's blown up. And you know, like it's not the end of the world if you can't do it on your own. Like it can be done. You can get the support and the help to you know, fulfill your dream of having a family if you can't seem to do it on your own.
Well, now this kind of leads me into the next question is like, so Kendra, you were trying, you know, with your body for many months and then years in a sense. Did the conversation ever come up when maybe your wife could carry Cairo or the baby?
That's a very good question. So my wife is like not at all interested in carrying a baby.
Okay.
She understands like the toll it has on the body. You know, even being pregnant for 9 months, you know, it's emotional. And, you know, she's the type that will cry over stubbing her toe. So she's like not interested in, you know, potentially having to, you know, deal with the ups and downs of the emotions and your body changes. Some women have complicated pregnancies, you know, pregnancies where they're throwing up the whole time, pregnancies where they have high blood pressure. Like there's so many things that can happen in pregnancy. And she's just not interested in like seeing what that could be like. But let me tell you what else science can do. And we're maybe going to explore this for baby number 2.
Okay.
She might have her eggs retrieved and then I could carry her embryo. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Because I have heard of that as well, to kind of like, I don't know, maybe someone in my past couples that I've talked to about this, where they kind of wanted to incorporate both partners in the process in this, you know. So yes, I've heard of where maybe the other partner can use their eggs, and then that way it's like everyone's involved.
It's called reciprocal IVF, where you know you would have her eggs, and so she would only have to. The whole process of getting your eggs retrieved is only like 2 weeks. You have to take medication, and then you have to have that procedure. So she can commit. She's willing to commit to 2 weeks of medication and even a little surgical procedure. But that's the extent of where she's trying to go.
Did that ever bother you or have an issue when it came to like?
No, because she cries at a stub toe, and I am literally like Superwoman. I can do like I'm not anti any of that. I already know that I have a high tolerance for like. I wasn't scared of labor and delivery. I wasn't scared. You know, we just have.
You wanted this experience.
I wanted to.
Yeah.
I really did. And honestly, it was a beautiful pregnancy too. So I mean, I got super lucky. I did not have any like major symptoms, you know, and that all happened. So that was at the top of 2020. In fact, our embryo transfer was on March 13th. So, you know, that was before.
Oh my God, like the week it happened, like the week the world shut down. Holy shit.
Holy shit. Like to the point where I almost thought they started canceling the IVF procedures, but I had already started on my medication. So they couldn't, like, it would have messed up everything. So I was on the tail end of getting my procedure done because they cut it off the following week. And you
almost didn't even. Oh, wow.
And I was, and
what a miracle.
I know, right? Because so many women had to wait months. I don't think they started
Yeah.
taking and when you've been trying for a year and a half, it's like I don't want to have to wait anymore.
No.
So I really
Yeah.
I got super lucky. My procedure was on March 13th. I got my positive pregnancy test on March 22nd. And I was pregnant at home on the couch working remotely during quarantine the whole time. So, I mean, I got lucky. I didn't have to. And, after trying for
Wow.
2.5 years and spending all that money and, I wanted to be home. I didn't want to experience the
Girl.
loss or the opportunity of or the potential rather of losing the child of
Right.
I wanted to be able to stay home, take care of myself. And that's another thing. I think sometimes people take being pregnant for granted, but that after my experience, I was so protective of my experience and so protective of the things I ate and just trying to make sure I did everything I could to have a full-term pregnancy and not have to, go down the road anymore. I've been trying for a long time. I was ready to bring a baby.
Wow, girl. And then it kind of almost was a blessing that you not saying the pandemic happening, but the fact that you could be home and still work and it kind of worked out beautifully in that sense for you and your family. So
it was perfect timing. It really was perfect
God's
timing.
Timing is always right, guys. I mean, if
really
you don't believe in it, I'm sorry, but I truly believe that the universe and God's timing is all just perfect. So
I agree.
if you have to also just have faith and just manifest your happiness. You have to manifest it. You have to just and be positive about it. That's why I was super, super, super happy for you and your wife, because you guys have been nothing but just positive entities to me. That's the experience I've experienced with you guys. So I never felt that, I was just happy for you guys. I didn't know your history. I didn't know all the work that went into it at all. But, I was just genuinely oh, beautiful. I'm they are such a cute Black lesbian couple. And now they got this cute Black baby. I'm so oh. But so also to baby Cairo. Now you are Cairo's biological mother, correct?
Yeah, birth mommy. Yeah.
And so do you know anything about the father? Do you know what nationality? Do you know?
I say this about straight people, or say this to straight people all the time. I know more about Cairo's daddy than y'all be knowing about y'all baby daddies. Okay. And that's legit. So the sperm banks, they provide so much information. Now there's layers too. You can get the silver layer, the gold layer, or the platinum layer, right?
Really?
Whichever one you pay the most money for, or whatever one you pick, the more information you know, right? So you get the platinum where you get baby pictures, you get voice interviews, you get why they answer questions about why they wanted to become donors. You get all of their medical history. So they test them, obviously, to test to see if it's even compatible. So if he is a carrier for some disorder or something, they check yours too to see if you're a carrier, because if both of you are carriers, then the likelihood of your child having it. So you get so much information. You get all of their family's medical history. I know what their mama looked like.
Oh my God. That's
the skin tone, the height, even personality types, and it's all, they answer the questions in terms of personality types, but it's still helpful to kind of know something. But the medical history is all tested and everything. So you kind of
know everything, huh?
know everything.
So baby Cairo's father is Black, or okay, was it important to have the race in the sense of did you want Cairo's daddy to be your baby's father to be Black? Yeah,
absolutely. We are people of color. Would I look like raising anything other than that? You know what I mean? It was very important for me too, because also so that I can know what I'm dealing with. That's the only experience I know.
Right.
I done been raised as a Black woman, and I want to be able to pour into him and tell him who he is based on my experience and based on the people who I spend my time with. So yeah, it was very, very important. All that, there are I will say this: these sperm banks don't have a whole lot of Black donors, first of all. And
interesting.
I mean, it's no different than any other. We the minority everywhere else in the world, and we're the minority in these sperm banks too.
Really?
Wow. So, you have to really shop around too, because there's there's two like major sperm banks. It's like the Target and Walmart of sperm banks, but then they have like the smaller ones. So the two major ones, they only have a handful of Black donors, literally only a handful. And so in my community of lesbian women, we're all having babies now, right? And everybody's going to these same two sperm banks. And I'm like, do y'all realize if y'all all go to the same sperm bank and y'all all buy the same sperm, all these kids is gonna be related?
Yeah, they're gonna be brothers and sisters.
Literally. And
that's cute though. That's cute though.
I mean, it's kind of cute, but like Kim, it's crazy too, because we haven't even explored it yet. But there's a network connected to the sperm bank where you can kind of like find the siblings if you want to.
Okay.
Some of these donors got 15 some kids.
Ooh.
I know. And I haven't. So we ended up going to a smaller sperm bank for this very reason, just because.
Okay. So you didn't want that experience.
I don't necessarily want that. I don't mind that he has siblings, but I don't know. I just don't want them to all be in my community. I don't know.
Got you.
And and then honestly, the lesbian community, we're not the only ones buying sperm. Straight people buy sperm too, because
that's
sometimes
very true.
Sometimes the fertility problem be with the man. It don't even be the woman. Sometimes the sperm don't be working, and so then they got to go buy some. Yeah. But we just didn't want to really bump into other donor or other families with donors. And so I don't know if he has any siblings yet. I'm gonna at some point send him my email and figure it out.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is though, the donors, they also give up their rights as father, so to speak.
They give up their rights as father, but some of them are open to meeting them once they turn 18. So that's something they can either choose to be completely anonymous forever, or they can opt to be open. And that doesn't mean that I have to send Cairo his way when he turns 18. But if, for instance, Cairo grows up and learns that Samara ain't his daddy, I'd be like, because he's gonna learn. He's gonna know at some point, he's gonna go to sex ed and he's gonna learn. And we have no idea how we're gonna handle these.
I was just gonna ask, like, do you feel comfortable with Cairo meeting, looking for his father or biological father? I'm sorry,
we would have to be open to it, and this whole experience is like on the job training. Like, we're gonna figure it out as we go along.
That's real.
Because we don't even have access to a lot of kids who were birthed this way, just because it's a new age thing, right? Like the same-sex parents having kids or same-sex couples having kids is not a common thing. We're literally like the trailblazers of the process, right? So that's him coming down the stairs. We're the trailblazers of the process. So it's kind of like I don't know if he's gonna say I want to meet him. I don't know. So we're open. I think my wife is open too. But we're gonna figure it out when we get to that road, right?
Okay, that's real. And then so baby Cairo's here. I mean, he's literally in the room. You guys, she's a mama, so I'm trying to be respectful and not keep her too long because she's got to feed and things. So but I did want to make sure so because we are pole dancers, right? We're pole sisters. Did you pole dance the whole time you were pregnant and now
No, well, I didn't. So I know I mentioned earlier that I was super careful. Like, I didn't want to. I was nervous. Like, I would hate to have
that's right, because I had
an obligation to my wife as well. So imagine us trying 7-8 times, me getting pregnant, and then like I do something stupid.
Girl, you go do an invert and then whew.
And then And it'd be like a high risk pregnancy or something. That's not something, a risk I was willing to take for myself or for her. Like I said, I had a duty to her, and I'm carrying the baby, so I had to do everything I could. I did pole a couple times. I'm not gonna say I didn't go down there. I have a pole in my basement. So, and I would be doing laundry, and I would be like, let me just go see what I can do. I'm alone, but I'm not lonely.
Comfortably indulging and trying to get to know me. I'm just an outline of what I used to be. Constantly
maybe throughout the whole course of the pregnancy, I pulled maybe 3 or 4 times, and I was doing basic stuff like fireman spins and nothing major. I kept it real cute. And I already knew, like, going into pregnancy, I already knew that I wasn't going to be one of those pole mommies that, pole the whole, because, they do it, girl. They will pole up until 40 weeks, child.
You guys, women pole dance during pregnancy, before pregnancy, during pregnancy, and after pregnancy. I remember when I was teaching, we had one of my students, she was like 6-7 months pregnant in class, and she was getting it, girl. She was doing the choreo, what I'm saying? She wouldn't do tricks classes, but she would do the pole dancing classes. And I gotta tell you, I thought it was very good for her. I mean, she kept her in shape. She said she felt amazing from it. So I guess it's just a case by case basis. And for you, totally understand why you didn't want to risk it. So, but you're back on the pole now, and you're kind of like getting into it. Me and Kendra both are, guys, because I took a huge break as well. Because I just was like, I need a break from this fucking.
I can't tell you took no
I need a break, girl. So, and like, I stopped teaching, and I have so many people that want me to teach again. I'm just like, I love y'all down, but I gotta figure shit out if I even want to go down that road again. You know what I mean? So right now it's just trying to get back on the pole and learn, girl, be the pole kisses, girl, the calluses, girl. I was like, girl, I forgot all this shit.
Ooh. I completely forgot. I did my first inside leg hang, and I felt that burn on my inner thigh. I was stunned. I couldn't believe it.
I have a video which I will post soon on my Instagram of like me doing a Superman.
Oh Lord.
No, Superman. So guys, all these pole tricks, if you're watching the visuals, I'll put examples of what we're talking about, because right now it must be like a foreign language. But Superman is just kind of what you envision in your head, like the Superman pose, like, that is, I think, arguably the most painful
It is
in pole dancing. So I did one of those, girl, and I said, "Oh!" I came out of it. I was like, the pain." But obviously, I mean, good question. How about that? Having the baby, having Cairo, painful as fuck, or would you say which is worse, pole dancing pain or having a baby?
Obviously. Gosh. So I did natural for 18 hours, no medication. Okay. I ended up not the whole time, just the first 18. There was no medication for the first 18. It was doable. But it goes from like doable, and then it hits this curve where it's just like, whoa, what is happening? And so I would say it was doable, but my wife will tell you that I was in a deep state of meditation. I was like not even myself. I wasn't talking the whole time. You're just really focused on each contraction. So it's painful and it's doable, but it kind of sends you, like, it was almost like I was like high a little bit. I was in this like weird, and then you have all these hormones. Oxytocin is like major when you're going through labor, which is like an upper, there's a lot to it. So it's doable, but it takes a lot of preparation work. And I ended up getting the epidural after a while, just because I didn't know how much longer I was going to be in labor. I had already been in labor for 18 hours. And so, like, if you could tell me I was going to have my baby in an hour, I would have stuck it out.
Okay.
But there's this element of just it being unknown. Yeah. Was I going to be in labor for another hour, or was it going to be another 6? If it was going to be 6 more hours, give me the epidural. Really? But they can't really tell you. So that's why I went ahead and got it, just because I didn't know how much longer I was going to be in labor. So I did 18, no medication, finally got the epidural, and he came within like 3 or 4 hours after that.
Okay.
And then by then I had my epidural. I felt like a new woman. I'm no longer like not talking. I was talking, I was laughing, I was myself. Because before that, girl, I was loopy. I have videos of it, and I was like, my eyes were kind of like rolling, and
wow,
it's pretty taxing. It's pretty taxing. But women do it all the time.
I mean, listen,
do it all the time.
I'm over here like, because I have not gone through that. Still don't know if I want to. I'll be honest with y'all. I don't know, girl. I don't know. I'm 31, so we'll see. Because the time, it's ticking, you know what I'm saying?
You got a couple years to figure out if you want to do it or not. And you're super strong. Like, I feel like you would be fine.
Girl, women, mothers are heroes and
literally superhero.
Like,
please,
men out there, if a woman had a baby for you, you better kiss her feet, because that shit right there is the truth. All right.
It is. It really is.
Well, that was kind of like a perfect segue into kind of like, because, you know, I've with all my guests in the show, I wanted to kind of go into, we all do the meditate, masturbate, medicate segment, but we have been speaking for a little bit. I want to give you a little break. So we will take a quick break. And then when we come back, Kendra will kind of go into and talk about meditate, masturbate, or medicate. We'll be back. We'll be back. And we are back, everyone. And you know what, guys? We have baby Cairo in the episode now. He's eating. So Kendra is on mommy duty, guys. So that's why I did want to go ahead and change up the subject. Let's go ahead and get into meditate, masturbate, or medicate. Kendra, what would you like to talk about today?
Look, they all sound good, honestly, but I'm gonna pick meditate.
Yes, meditate. Yes. Okay. Well, since you did mention it before the break about how you went into this meditative state when you were pregnant, can you maybe enlighten us on that, or whatever you want to talk about?
Well, honestly, even meditation in general, it became a part of like my practice in life at the beginning of this baby making situation. And so I'll talk about how I got into it with labor, but I practiced for 2 years before. And I didn't start practicing because I wanted to use it for labor and delivery. But going into the baby making process, you know, I'm so used to in life, I'm so used to having control over like everything, that towards the beginning of the process, when I realized I wasn't getting pregnant, I realized it was a process that I didn't have control over, right? You know, getting pregnant is not something that I would be able to snap my fingers and make happen.
Right.
And so for me, you know, that kind of caused me a little anxiety and a little stress. And so it kind of just naturally pushed me into a spiritual journey where I kind of had to get comfortable with just letting go and really leaning into the universe, doing what it was going to do, and also being open to letting it do what it was going to do, and not being disappointed. And so that, doing some research, that led me to meditation and how I can use meditation to just remain calm, to kind of manage my stress levels, to kind of manage my anxiety and being high strung over the process. Because it's important to be even killed when trying to get pregnant. And, you know, I wanted to be level-headed during the whole process. So I mean, I started just researching all these different meditations. I found this Instagram. It's called Moon Omens. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Moon Omens, but they do these full moon meditations. And I started doing those, and it's pretty cool. I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I would love to do it. Yeah.
But they do the full moon meditations, which I started doing. This was in 2019, and I was doing them every month. And then several times a day too. I would just go down into my pole room, light candles, light some sage. I got into crystals and all of that. And then that's really where I practiced meditation and kind of perfected it, because, you know, when you first do it, it's hard to silence your mind, right? So you're laying there and you're like, I'm supposed to be quiet and I'm supposed to be like one with the universe, but you have every thought in the the known to man. You could start thinking about stupid shit like, where's my birth certificate? Where those things that I had last week? So when I first started, that's what meditation was like to me. But I just kept doing it. I stayed committed. And it became easy. It became like, I started having like these moments where I would have these creative ideas come out of nowhere. Or I would even think about the baby making process. I would just kind of like let my mind go, and then stuff will kind of come to me. It's you quiet down, but then like stuff comes to you.
Really?
So I did that for years, and it was amazing. And so when it was time to start, practicing for labor, it was easy work. Like I had been used to quieting my mind. And so that's why I was able to go through labor for 18 hours with no medication.
Ooh,
I was quiet. I was breathing. Nothing could sway me. It took work. And so now I can say that meditation is my go-to practice. I do it when I'm going to sleep. Before you have insomnia, I wasn't able to fall asleep at night. It's easy now. I literally sit down, you focus on your breathing, and it's something I do every single day. It's a mood manager. I will sing the praises of meditation any chance I get, because it helped me literally through those years of I dealt with the miscarriage, like all of that stuff. It really was helpful through every stage of the process. And it's like a life tool for me. It's something that I would encourage anyone to, just to help deal with stress and just life in general. Life is no easy feat,
No,
so
not. Yeah.
It's my go-to. It's my go-to. That's why I picked it to talk about.
It sounds like you have really mastered, in a sense, for you, like the practice of meditation. And I have yet to do that. Like I still struggle, with meditation. Like I try to, like mostly in the mornings before I wake up, I try to make time, but girls on my phone be distracting me. You grab your phone, check your messages, check your emails, and I need to be better about that too. And it sounds like you have like mastered that, in the sense of like, because of everything that was going on with trying to get pregnant. So kudos to you. Like,
well, thank you.
Amazing.
And you said I've mastered it for me, and that's like exactly it. Like everybody's experience with meditation is going to be different. Everybody's journey to it. And honestly, being drawn to meditation is usually something in life that happens where it's kind of like, okay, I can't. Life is crazy. Life is whooping my ass. I need to figure something out. And that's kind of what happened for me. It's like, I didn't feel like life was whooping my ass, but I felt like I needed to like find something. Like I needed something to kind of like calm me down, help me get through just, the day to day. And I was drawn to meditation, and it's worked for me. It really has. And then what I will say to anyone who has tried it and it feels like, I can't quiet my mind, I can't, just to be patient and to be patient and not to be too hard on yourself. It's absolutely normal to feel like, when you're supposed to be not thinking of anything, you have a million thoughts in your head. That's completely normal. Practice makes perfect. You know that with pole and any other other new endeavor, you just practice.
Girl, you said it, because like I've yet to still, because like when I do go into the meditate, like when I sit down and meditate, it's still one of those, I have to shut my brain off, because then I want to think about everything else that's going on, and then it leads me to other things where it's like, and I'll catch myself like, oh, stop, and then bring yourself back. So I'm constantly still at that point where I'm fighting back and forth. So hopefully I can master for myself, the way you did. I gotta put in the work too. I'll admit I'm not putting in as much work as I need to, because I know it will help me in that sense, like especially with like anxiety and just everything. So that sounds amazing. Thank you so much, Kendra. Like honestly, guys, I mean, look at her now. If you guys are watching in the visuals, she's got her hands full. She's got the cutest bundle in her lap right now. We got Cairo in the building, you all. We got Cairo in the building. Thank you so much for joining us. I did want to just do a little cute quote of the day. Nothing crazy, but honestly, just kind of like what I was feeling when I thought about me and you and doing this podcast together. So the quote of the day is, I've learned that people will forget what you sucked. Let's start that again. Ready? The quote of the day is, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that is Maya Angelou. And that literally is like all the talking and all that back and forth shit. But you know what? Whenever I was with you, Kendra, I felt so happy, and the positivity, the energy you gave me. So that's just kind of like a little, and it's by Maya Angelou. So duh. Amazing.
And I agree, Kim. You've always been super, super fun, warm, welcoming, genuine. It never felt like bullshit either. Like it's always been amazing. So I appreciate you for reaching out and rekindling things and inviting me on the show.
Yes, guys, I was just so pleased that she was on the same wavelength as me, because it could have gone many other ways when I reached out to her. I didn't know either. I was like, I hope Kendra doesn't feel a way about me. So I was just so happy we were able to, rekindle our connection and hear her story. She will be back. And then at this time, Kendra, if you want to plug anything, Kendra, you guys have a YouTube channel with their family. So please let us know about that if you'd like.
No, I will. Well, so my Instagram is shecango. That's SHECANGO. And we just started the YouTube channel. It's called Back with the Balans. Balans is our last name. And it's just a channel that highlights my wife and I's life. We both love dance, music, food, travel, fitness, and we're new moms. And so I had been wanting to start a YouTube channel a long time ago, but COVID, really kind of pushed it up and made it priority. So we're just sharing our life, sharing our experiences being a new mom. I have so many things in store in terms of like raising this little guy that I plan to share. And then all of our personal passions, pole dancing, fitness, food, love, life, relationships. The list truly, truly does go on. So you can find us on YouTube with Back with the Balans, or my Instagram page, which is She Can Go.
And yes, guys, I will put all of these in the show notes. And then if you're watching in the visuals, it'll pop up and you'll see them as well. Well, there you go, guys. Follow them on their journey and raising this little beautiful bundle. Cairo here, and just follow her on Instagram. Kendra is amazing. I am so elated that she joined us today. Hopefully she will be back. We can talk about so many things, me and this girl. So I'm so excited that she decided to do this. And yeah, girl, I can't wait to continue to watch all your videos too on YouTube. So thank you guys so much. I'm gonna let Kendra get back to being a mom, working as well. And yeah, thanks so much for joining us, Kendra.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate it.
I love you so much. Thank you so much, guys. And as always, catch us next week on Kimbology. Bye, everyone. Kimbo out.
Brought to you by the Rick Dog Network. Well, shoot the damn dog.